All right. What's going on, guys? We're here at Ceramic Pro, here to interview Josh. And I'm going to ask him some questions that you guys probably want to know. He's kind of starting to be a part of the car community as well. So we're going to just really dive right into it. Let's just start off with letting the people know about yourself.
Man, there's so much to talk about.
We got time, man. We got time.
Let's see where to start. Born and raised here in Texas. Lived pretty much my whole life in North Texas between Gainesville and Denton. Around 7th grade, though, my dad, who is a Lebanese immigrant, decided to move back to Lebanon. And he took the whole family with him. So in 94, we moved back to Lebanon, and I finished, my 8th grade through high school there, graduated there.
Really?
And yeah. Oh, wow. Graduated high school in 99 and came back. He took me to the airport, gave me $2,000, and he said, here's this, go become a man, go do what I did, And so fast forward, what's that, 26 years, and here we are.
Here we are. What got you into wanting to create Ceramic Pro? I guess open up a shop for yourself.
Well, I grew up in the restaurant industry. My dad, that's all he did. He ran about 12, 15 McDonald's here in the Metroplex, and he was actually a pioneer in taking the first American branded restaurant, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Sparrow Pizza, and Hardee's sandwiches to the Middle East. And wow. I grew up in the restaurant business, and honestly, that's what I thought my destiny was. And I came back, went to UNT for a little bit, worked in several restaurants, and worked my way up into management. And for the longest, I was with Blue Mesa Grill, local chain here in the Metroplex.
Yeah, I remember those.
And I even had one here in Arlington that we opened up in Lincoln Square. And in 2012, I was starting to get burned out, and
just the restaurant business itself.
Just the restaurant business itself, it's just taxing, man. There's no life when everybody's off of work. You're at work.
Yeah.
The late night Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays,
right.
Sundays, and it was a high volume restaurant, so we were pumping, grinding, slinging caterings left and right. It was actually the busiest catering restaurant in the Metroplex. And 2012, I was like, man, I need to start doing something different. And I always had a passion for detailing cars. I'm a big fisherman too, and I used to fish all the local grassroots tournaments. Wednesday night Grapevine tournament, Thursday night Lake Arlington tournament.
Oh, really? Like professional kind of things?
Not professional. I wish. I'm not
the big ones. Huh?
I'm not that good. But that was always another dream of mine is to fish professionally. But it was just an outlet, and it was good camaraderie. And so we would go out there and have a good time, and guys were like, man, my boat's so dirty, I wish I can get it clean, blah blah blah. I was like, you know what, I like to detail, so let me start something. So I got a little trailer with the pressure washer, 150-gallon tank, and bought all the chemicals, and so I started doing mobile detailing, mainly boats, for these guys that I knew.
Yeah.
And I did that for about 3 years, come 2015. And I walked into the restaurant one day, and I looked around, and I was like, man, I was kind of already at my wit's end with it. Had just got into it with the ownership. I was expecting more money, didn't get it. Just
did you know like it was your last day?
No,
that feeling, or you just?
I literally took the keys off the keychain.
And you just said,
set them down the table, and I just walked away. And that was probably the hardest thing that I'd ever done in my life, just to walk away from that, because that's all I ever knew.
Right.
And so I really pursued the mobile side, 2015, 2016, really hard, and it was definitely a grind. And so I kind of got linked up with some car wash guys, and I was doing detailing and managing their operations, and just running cars, detailing them, at some of these high volume car washes in the Metroplex. And the one guy that actually, he's my partner here in this shop. I had always, probably around 2018, 2019, the idea of having a detail shop kind of came to my head, and something that I really wanted to pursue. And he had already kind of had some other plans for himself, and so we we agreed to disagree, and I would help him kind of finish one of his ventures that he
Right.
wanted to do. And so I grinded it out with him on that. And then around 2019, kind of towards the end of 2020, is when I've got my hands on Ceramic Pro coatings for the very first time.
Okay.
The coating industry kind of was really kind of taken off at that point. I had played with Simonized diamond plate and a couple of other products out there, but man, once I got my hand on Ceramic Pro and realized the results that this product delivered, I was like, I want to do this more. And then
Damn.
2021 hit. That's when COVID hit. We had the big freeze here in Texas. The project that me and that guy were working on kind of got delayed because of that big freeze.
Right.
And just like like anything in life, there's the higher power always has a bigger plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was still slinging Ceramic Pro coatings and doing some tint here and there. Didn't really know much about PPF until 2022 when Ceramic Pro reached out to me and they're like, hey, we are kind of developing this elite dealer program.
Yeah.
It's a franchise model, but there's no franchise agreement. There's, you are a representative of our company. They say hand chosen, hand selected, and they are very select about who they do allow to be an elite dealer within their network.
Right.
And so I had to jump through all the hoops, go through all the trainings, even though I'd already slung coatings, done tinting. PPF was a whole different ballgame, but you have to be fluent and prove yourself that you can handle all their products before they really do turn you loose.
Yeah.
And so the grind started of trying to find a location. Arlington has always kind of been home. From when I moved back from Lebanon, I came straight to Arlington. Lived here for about 20 plus years. Had the restaurant here and so forth. My son, he graduated from Arlington High, so Arlington's home.
Yeah. You've been here.
And I just knew that there's so much to offer here in Arlington, and the entertainment district in itself is a whole different animal. There's all eyes of the world, on Six Flags, Rangers Ballpark, AT&T Stadium, and so this is kind of where I always kept coming back. I kept finding other shops in different areas, industrial parks, things like that, but I just kept getting drawn to this area right here, and
it's a hell of a location because we are literally right behind Six Flags. Like I could see the parking lot like right there, walking distance. It's so it's kind of a nice location to be in. So I mean, how did it go? I mean, starting this, getting this location, and then how do you get like customers, or you just spread the word, or how did it all just kind of?
I thought that with the following that I had from my mobile side, from the car wash side, that it would just kind of be natural.
Yeah.
And it actually was the complete opposite. I've always kind of known, I've always known that networking and getting out and, promoting myself, not necessarily the brand or anything like that, what I offer, what I can do was crucial to really building any business. And it's what I did in the restaurant business. And you could call it selling, you can call it whatever, but in all reality, it's building relationships.
Yeah.
The more relationships, the more hands you can shake, the more proof that you can show folks, the more trust that you can build. And then once you build that trust, it just kind of everything snowballs and takes its own life.
Yeah.
So that first year, we opened up the doors on the building and on the shop of April of last year. So we took April, May, June, July, and even August of last year, just bringing in a couple of staff members, training them, getting fluid with, the flow of things, and adapting to the shop with the heat, because our product is very climate temperamental. The coating is different, and it likes to be applied 68 to 70 degrees with about 40% humidity.
That's sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot. You get into 72 and 50, 60% humidity like it is here in Texas, man. It's a struggle,
Yeah,
and that's why a lot of shops in the area don't like using this coating because it is very difficult to install and level and apply. The solvents are very strong. The concentration level of the silica dioxide or the titanium dioxide are the highest that there really is on the market.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't really see a lot of guys using it. Plus, it being a California-based product, I don't think that the name has really gotten there, even though Ceramic Pro is a global brand.
Yeah.
XPEL has a lock on the market
Right.
here in Texas because they're San Antonio-based. And I kind of pursued their coatings. I play with it a little bit. I've had my hands on their PPF.
Is there any difference or?
When it comes to the coating, absolutely.
Yeah.
PPF, their PPF is a little bit easier, I feel like, to install. It's a little bit more pliable. Their adhesive is a little bit more tacking, and when you want it to tack, it'll tack.
Yeah.
Where with our PPF, I feel like it has a little bit more stretch. There's subtle differences. There's so many different brands out there in the market now, whether it's PPF,
Yeah.
whether it's coating, whether it's tint. Ultimately, for me, it was the relationships that I had built with Ceramic Pro corporate. From my business consultant to my sales guy to Adam Cote, who is the VP of the Elite Dealer, all the way up to the president. And it's a family environment. I'm not just a number to them or sales. There is a number commitment that we're supposed to have, sales, purchase wise from them. Luckily, here in the last 6 months, I've hit it, but they knew from the get-go, opening a shop from the ground up was going to have its challenges.
Yeah, it takes time.
And it does take time, especially with the location that I picked. It's not very high traffic during the day,
Yeah, you just need a big sign out there, really.
The city of Arlington wants their money, man. It's expensive.
I think that's like the one thing that's missing, because if you drive by it, if you're not looking for it.
Yeah.
But a lot of like you mentioned, competitors and stuff. What should people kind of focus on when they choose Ceramic Pro over others? Like what are differences that they should?
I don't look at the other shops as competitors. That's one thing that I feel like has turned into a little bit of a negative in the industry here in the Metroplex. That everybody thinks we're all fighting for the same customer, but in the shop with the staff that I have, I can only handle so many cars a day in a week. Within I think a 7-mile radius, there's 1.2 million people that live in a 7-mile radius of this shop. So even if there is 3 guys down the street, less than a quarter mile away, if anything, we should all be working together, instead of undercutting each other, $200, $500 here, bad mouthing, things like that. Coming from the restaurant business, the state of Texas has the Texas Restaurant Association, where all the restaurant owners and operators, they come together and they talk about best practices. One of my dreams is to hopefully, get with some folks and, start a Texas Detailers Association.
Hey, there you go.
And that way, we're all on the same page, because our PPF, our coating, is very comparable to the next guy. Our window tint is comparable. They're all, you have to realize there's only so many manufacturers in the U.S. and everybody gets the same product from these same 5 manufacturers.
Right.
And so we should all, be having each other's back and building each other up versus, bad mouthing or, just doing, shady things, going on people's Google and putting negative reviews, and they've never done business with us.
I was always curious if you dealt with that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's probably some companies that pretend to be customers and try to fish your prices and try to get
Oh,
quotes.
absolutely. All day long.
But I think that happens in every type of business.
It does. But what's funny is, I'll get a phone call and I can hear, the heat gun, in the background, or I can hear the polisher and I got a Ferrari SVJ. I'm trying to get a full PPF. I'm like, come on, man. So
yeah, I feel you on that, man. Any struggles coming up building this? I'm sure you faced a few. What you did mention some, but like what motivates you to keep going?
What motivates me to keep going is a healthy fear of failure, man. I walked away from the restaurant industry wanting to pursue something on my own. And it took me, damn near 10 years to get to the point where, I am my own operator. I am running my own business, whether it's that entrepreneurial spirit. And I don't really call it necessarily a fear of failure, but knowing that, the sky is the limit, and the only person that can hold me back now is myself, is really even a big motivator for me.
You have to hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely, 100%. I've always been a firm believer in leading by example, and so, I mean, you've been here in the shop with me, and and I'm sure there's a lot of operators that do the same. But I'm on my knees in the soapy water, underneath cars, laying PPF, laying coatings.
Yeah, I've seen you put in work, man.
Pushing my guys to hopefully help them grow, be better, and then when I am to that point where I can finally step back 100%, then they'll be armed and ready to handle whatever comes our way.
Yeah. And how do you motivate your employees, you think?
Money.
Works every time.
I mean, money is a big motivator. I mean,
sure.
That's just the world that we live in now. But
I'm just talking about, like, if somebody, like a younger kid, wanted to get into this kind of industry, maybe not start their own shop, but maybe they want to work along one. What would be some qualities that they would kind of bring that would help you?
I'm always real. I'm real and uncut with everybody. With my employees, with the people I meet, even with my customers. I'm very raw. I don't sugarcoat anything, and it's setting those expectations, because we are trying to. What we do is an imperfect art. If you get a brand new vehicle less than 5 miles from the dealership into the shop and you put it under a magnifying glass,
right? Yeah.
There's going to be imperfections. And so having folks understand that nothing's perfect in life. We don't have time for my full life story. If I told you my full life story, you'd be blown away. All my life experiences have, allowed me to be where I'm at and, have the mindset that I do. And so with my employees, with my staff, anybody trying to get in this business, the best thing to do is, and I'm going to be raw, put up or shut up, just learn. Keep your mouth closed. Obviously, ask questions if you don't know, but it takes practice. It takes work. And not every car is going to be the same. Nope. Not every scratch is going to be the same. Not every, there's just so many different variables from car to car, from service to service. That it just, repetition strengthens and confirms. The more you do something over and over and over again, the better you get at it.
Right.
And I've always been a firm believer in that.
That's great, man. What do you got going on in the shop this week? I see this 1M here. This is actually, I believe, is it the president of the Lone Star chapter? He's either the president or the main member, J.O.
Yeah, J.O. He's a hoot. He's the social chair of the Lone Star chapter of the BMW CCA, which I'm a member of. I'm a BMW owner, BMW lover.
You had a BMW?
My wife does. Oh. So, but it's an X3. It ain't nothing fancy. But we have a little one at home, so I can get the M3 or the M4 that I really want. But one day we'll get there.
Yeah.
But I met J.O. through that network, and J.O. He's 85 years old, and he gets around like he's still 55.
Yeah, he was telling me. He's an old man, and he's he
awesome.
was telling me about doing some of the rallies with the BMW clubs, and he was trying to get me on as well, and talking about the spirited driving that they do. What work is he getting done on this?
So we actually ceramic coated this about 6 months ago. So he has it here for a wash and just a little booster application. Not that it needs it, but he likes us, to keep it shined up for him, because he does take this one on all the drives and rallies that he does. But BMWs are amongst my favorite vehicles to work on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
As far as what I have going on in the shop this week, obviously we got the meet today with New Vibes and Zaza Burgers, Brooklyn Dave, New Vibes. So it's going to be definitely a great turnout. We've got a Porsche Taycan coming in for some PPF. I got an M4 coming in. You know, it's something different.
good, man.
It's something different every day. Yeah, the future is bright. You know,
That's good.
that's what my sales guy and my business consultant always says, and I've kind of adopted that saying because everything is a mindset, and you know, you have to believe it, to see it, to make it come true.
Yeah, it's I used to have a different mindset on that, but it's good to be busy, you know. Always be busy, have stuff to do, have new jobs and new
Oh, yeah,
projects coming
absolutely.
in. So
For sure.
I definitely feel you on that. I appreciate Josh, man, for taking some time before this meet. I know he's got to kind of help set up now and help Ace, and that video will be coming out as well. We're going to get all this on the channel as well. So thank you guys for listening. Again, Josh, if you have anything else you want to leave the people, discount code or something.
Hey, just come see me. I don't. There's no discount code or anything.
No, he'll take care of you.
my prices are fair, and I will definitely take care of you.
This guy
that's for sure.
is the best. So come check him out. Right behind Six Flags. Yeah, they appreciate it, man.
No, absolutely, man. Appreciate you, Joel.
All right, that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Another great episode. If you'd like to be on a future episode, send an email to joelsdriveway@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram and we'll chat.